So I'll hand you over to Duncan to speak.
Thanks, Ken. Well, firstly, welcome. What a fantastic day it's been, and what a great opportunity to be in Margaret River. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the Wardandi people as the traditional owners of the place in which we meet tonight, and I think that resonates well with the works we're seeing on the wall tonight, which I think are very informed by the interpretation of the Australian landscape. I was really thrilled to be invited by Lara to come to Margaret River to open this exhibition for a range of reasons. I've been Director General for 5 months and a bit, and my background was in the performing arts. For 34 years I was in the theatre industry, and then I left and wandered into the public service, where I said I spent 11 years wandering in the desert of the public service. But I worked for agencies like training and education, industry and resources, and planning, which I had the least expertise in. But 5 years as Deputy Director General of Aboriginal Affairs. And the Aboriginal Affairs period of my life changed me forever, as it does for anyone who spent 5 years in Aboriginal Affairs. But it was very much born off the back of the work that I did in the theatre industry, where I produced shows like Brand New Day, did the Jack Davis plays and so on. And during my theatre career, I had the enormous pleasure and honour, really, of working alongside Bec Juniper, who became a very valued friend. And an inspiration to me in re-looking and seeing, or opened my eyes to what was all around us. I was a lighting designer as well as a theatre producer, so Bob and I collaborated in various ways, and he manipulated his painting technique once he understood what I could do to manipulate his paintings through theatre lighting. At the same time, he taught me a lot about interpreting the landscape, and through my travels in Aboriginal affairs, through to the most remote parts of this state, I was always marvelled at the diversity of colour, the diversity of the landscape itself, that even in the most rawest and remote regions there is enormous beauty, not only in the landscape but also, of course, in the people that inhabit this place. So when I saw the invite and saw it with Bec Juniper, and knowing that Bec's work interprets and takes a topographic view of the of Australian landscape and reinterprets it, I thought, well, fantastic. For a start, I live in Darlington, around the corner from where Bob's studio was. Secondly, Bec is family, if you like, so having the opportunity to support an artist, being Director General of Culture and the Arts, and understanding that today, the visual arts and literature are under enormous pressure, particularly for mid and mature career artists. So my department provides a lot of support for emerging artists, but we've tended to be absent really past the point where someone's career has moved on. Because there are commercial galleries, because there's a commercial art market, but it doesn't mean that commercial artists or artists who are selling their work to the public don't run into periods of time when the art market is under stress, and it has been in recent times. So I've kind of committed myself, because you're only DG for a short period of time, maybe shorter than I hope, so you have to pick your marks. Which bits do you think you can do something meaningful about? And literature and visual art are the two areas that I feel that I could really make a difference in if I went wholeheartedly behind supporting artists, galleries, and right across the whole spectrum, not just in the emerging artists area. So Jahroc, fantastic that they have provided a wonderful gallery space in Margaret River, hopefully with lots of tourists in town, they'll wander through here and find that one piece of work which they should have on the wall. I know my wife's pressuring me already. So that's fantastic, and so it should be. And of course the juxtaposition with the beautiful furniture that's here just reminds us of the wonderful artists and artisans that we have in this state that deserve the support of West Australian people, and you can't do more than by securing, purchasing that special piece that joins your family and becomes part of your family's tradition as the years go on. So again, absolutely delighted to be here. The work is remarkable. I absolutely love it. I know you will talk about it, so they'll get a true insight into the meaning of each piece from you, Bec. But congratulations, and I'd like to now formally open the exhibition and hand over to Bec to tell us a bit more about the work you see on the wall. So thank you.
Thanks for coming, everybody. It's really good to see some old faces that I haven't seen for ages, and Jeffrey over here. Thanks, Duncan. I will talk a little bit about the work because I think it's an important part of this to know where I'm coming from when I'm in my studio making these pieces. And it obviously all started with Bob and being there as a child, seeing him work on the kitchen table quite often, making these landscape paintings and having a lot of fun while he was doing it. After having come back from some kind of adventure somewhere up north or down south, wherever it may have been, and watching him go through that whole process of interpreting what he'd seen and putting it into a piece. There's a lot of stories behind Bob's work. My work's a little bit different in that it's much more intuitive. I don't really know what's going to happen to each painting when I start it. I just start with a sort of a basic idea, and I work in layers, and I'm actually mimicking what I think is what happens in nature, which is you get a lot of building up, and you get some destruction, and you get erosion, you get sedimentation, and you get windswept terrains, and you get fluid moving and all those kind of things. So they're the sort of things that I'm trying to achieve when I'm making these works. And just like any other artist, I pick up a lot of ideas from other things that other people do. The Sideways River, for instance, was a Tim Winton idea. He kind of put that idea in my head because he remarked that, isn't it funny, our rivers run backwards. No one ever really thinks about that, but up north they do. When the rains come or when the tides come, king tides, the river's actually running from the ocean up the land rather than the other way around, and so that kind of put that idea in my head for a particular work like that. So sometimes it starts with a simple idea. Most of the time the works just evolve to become what they are. I use raw materials a lot to kind of get that honesty on the surface. I really like to let the materials do a lot of the work for me, so that I get a lot of those special effects. Someone was asking me how I did something, and I said it's a magic trick, basically, but it really is water and pigment, just like it is on the earth. So when you actually get up above the earth's surface and look down, you do get a little bit of an X-ray vision of how the land has formed over the years, and sometimes you can actually see the different colours from the different mineral deposits and things like that. So every artist's pigment comes from the earth in some way or another. They're the permanent pigments, the minerals. So the only thing that I use, which is a bit of a plant product, is the xanthoria resin, which gives you those amber colours, and I've been using that probably for about 20 years, and done a lot of research on it and a lot of experimenting with it, and it's a material that is really of this place. So when you see that colour, it speaks something a little of the landscape. So I think these works are really, they're meant to give you a feeling of where we are in Western Australia and Australia, as opposed to a sort of a picture of it, so that it's a little bit generous in that I want people to have something where they get that feeling like they do when they're walking on the beach or sitting somewhere looking at the stars at night or something like that. So I'm not imposing my kind of self onto people, but more a love of the landscape. And that's about it.
Thanks, Bec. It's great actually to get that insight into your work. I had read something about what where you're coming from there. It's fantastic. We're very excited to have you on board as an artist. Bec only joined us.
I forgot to say thanks, John.
No, that's all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, in the art game, it's sort of pretty hard to get high calibre artists, and to get someone like Bec to jump on board with us, yeah, we're excited and look forward to a long relationship. Hopefully we can make you a lot of money as well. And let you keep enjoying your craft, which is really, that's what it's all about. But anyway, so enjoy your night. There's plenty of wine and a bit of champagne out there, some nice margarita cheeses, and enjoy the show. And yeah, don't be scared if you feel like purchasing something. But enjoy the evening. Thank you.